Welcome everyone to the MedSpa Accelerator podcast, brought to you by Everwell Marketing, the go-to resource so you can get the latest hacks and best practices to market and grow a profitable medical aesthetics practice. My name is Maripili and I am obsessed with all things business, marketing, operations, numbers, and helping you grow and take your MedSpa to the next level. This is the MedSpa Accelerator podcast, Season 2. Hey, welcome to a new episode. In this one, I am having a conversation with Jacke and Dr. Oliver Pietro from the Dream Body System. This is a MedSpa health solution, and you can add it as a competitive advantage and open your business to a new audience and more revenue. In our conversation, they describe what the Dream Body System is, how it got started, and how you can leverage it to grow your MedSpa business. Dr. Jacke has more than 40 years of brand marketing experience, working with everyone from the Major League Baseball to Martha Stewart and the Disney Company. As the Dream Body System CEO, his mission is to bring this unique brand of healthcare to the more than 100 million Americans in desperate need of a health reset. Dr. Oliver Pietro was a primary care doctor in Miami who became frustrated with a rapidly increasing obesity epidemic in the US. So he did something about it. He studied an effective European solution, brought it back to the US, improved on the method, and patented what's known today as the Dream Body System. If you are looking into adding a new service to your MedSpa, want a competitive advantage, or are just tired of turning away clients who are not a good fit, keep listening and join me as we talk all about this new system that is making an incredible impact already. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited today that I have some very special guests, Mr. Jacke and Dr. Oliver Pietro from the Dream Body System. And I am excited to bring this over to you guys because I think it is an amazing opportunity if you are looking to add an extra service into your MedSpa right now. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Where are you?
Great.
Are you both in Florida right now?
Yes, I'm in Miami.
So tell us a little bit more, Dr. D. I mean, I know you're enjoying retirement now, but can you bring us back a little bit to when you started working with this system?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. So I'm a retired primary care physician. I practiced for over 40 years. And about 10 years ago, around 2011, patients were coming to me because they had heard about a weight loss system that was in Italy. And they had gone there and seen the surgeon in Rome that was using a similar system for weight loss. So what I did is I reached out to the surgeon, went to see him, spent some time with him, saw what he was doing, was quite impressed with what he was doing. And I basically, brought the system here. I improved it. We were able to get patents on it and started doing it. And we've done about 1,000 patients and with very, very good results. And basically, this is it. And then I met, Doug and his team, and they wanted to bring this to the next level, turn it into a viable opportunity for many spas and for many practices. And this is why that we're here today. And specifically, I will answer whatever medical questions that you have about the system.
That is awesome. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more, Doug, as the CEO of the company and bringing it over to the States. How did that come to be? Like, I know that the U.S. is very well known for its obesity here, but how did that end up happening coming from Europe to the U.S.?
So once Dr. Pietro had started practicing in the Miami area, our company was looking for new technology that we could invest in. And we're very particular about the kinds of technology we get into and the kinds of market need there is. And when we met Dr. Pietro and realized what he was doing and how big a change he was making in people's lives, we were excited to be able to sort of carry on his legacy. Even though he's alive and well, we're basically carrying the baton in the relay race now and carrying it forward to the rest of the world.
I love that. Definitely legacy is such a big thing. And I think right now, the way that most of our listeners and the clients that we work with, they're very passionate about helping their clients with different parts of their lifestyle, right? At the end of the day, all of the med spas that we're working with, they're all about enhancing and bringing a little bit more confidence to the people that are coming into their spas. So I mean, this system is such a great tool for that. Not only does it help to bring somebody's confidence, but it also helps them to be a little bit more healthy, right?
Right. And obesity is a huge problem. And Dr. D could go on for 20 minutes about the obesity problem in America and all the health problems it has. There's also an awful lot of societal and emotional issues wrapped around weight and that kind of thing. So people are in need, and they've been disappointed for so long with a lot of the weight loss solutions that are out there, that having something that works as fast and works as well as it does and have it be totally nutritional is a game changer. And so when we talk with med spas and aesthetic clinics, what we hear back from them is that they're excited to offer something that's going to really make a difference for a large portion of their community. And that large portion is also a group that generally self-regulates. It doesn't even reach out to med spas because they feel that the weight precludes them from whether it's body sculpting, et cetera. So by being able to introduce themselves as providers to this part of the community, they can basically transform these people into ideal med spa patients. So it's really a long-term relationship with these folks, because if you're the person that's created a whole new health paradigm for them, they're going to stick with you forever. And anything you say is going to carry a lot of weight with them.
Definitely. Yes. So let's go back and touch a little bit more about, the obesity problem here in America. And I know I've heard Dr. D talk about it as, it's an epidemic, but can you elaborate a little bit more?
Sure. So right now, if you look at the statistics, most of the statistics now are pre-epidemic. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, but at the time, the 72% of the American population, adult American population, had a weight problem. And 45% of those people were obese. And once you're obese, then that's when you start having some of the health problems that only get worse over time. We estimate the numbers to be conservatively 3/4 of the adult population now has that problem, and purely half have an obesity issue they have to deal with. The problem with these folks is that it's not that they don't want to lose weight, it's they try and fail and try and fail. And every time they fail, they get a little bit more weight and they get a little bit further down that slippery slope. And it really becomes a burden for them, both mentally and physically. So we know that these people are in desperate need of help and are excited that they can find that help by going to a local med spa and getting what they need and change their lives.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like the med spas now hold a lot of value in the community, because obviously it is a place where you can feel safe because it is medically represented, but also a place where you can feel a little bit maybe more relaxed in a sense, because it's not technically a clinic, right?
Right. So, and med spas by definition have the ability to perform certain medical procedures, which Dr. D can go into in greater detail if you wish. But by having a place where you have people who are medical professionals, but not a clinical setting, as you say, it's a nice place for people to come and escape and change their lives. I mean, all the procedures done in a med spa are designed to make people feel better about themselves, to look better, to feel younger, to look younger. Well, weight loss does all those things for them as well.
Yeah, 100%. So tell us now, everybody wants to know, what exactly is the Dream Body System? How does it work?
Dr. D, that's all you.
Okay, good. I'll be happy to do it. So the system has been designed to work on 10-day cycles. So we actually published our first 281 patients, and we co-authored that with Duke University, and we were able to show that the average weight loss per 10-day cycle was 12.8 pounds, which is 1 to 2 pounds per day, which is comparable to weight loss surgery. So the weight loss is dramatic, 1 to 2 pounds a day. One of the important things is that there's absolutely no hunger, because the system produces intense nutritional ketosis, which basically shuts off your hunger and starts burning fat almost immediately. Now, the way the system works is a small spaghetti-sized feeding tube has to be inserted through the nose. It's relatively painless. We numbing up the nose, and 98% of patients really feel that it's fine. The tube goes down into your stomach, and a patient basically wears a pump that delivers a nutritional supplement of proteins, micronutrients, and healthy fats, but there are no carbohydrates, which is what causes this profound ketosis and this weight burning, state. So patients start burning weight literally within hours, and this goes on for 10 days. Depending on the amount of weight that a patient needs to lose, you could do multiple 10-day cycles. So say someone has 30 pounds to lose, you could think that they would require 3 cycles, 10 days apart. So that would be 2 cycles per month to achieve a desired weight loss. And we've had patients lose well over 100 pounds and depending on the number of cycles that they need to do. And we have, data which is comparable to bariatric surgery, to gastric bypass surgery. So it's really, an incredible system. It's proven to work, and patients tolerate this very, very well.
So let me just add something real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dr. D talks about no hunger with ketosis, and the reality is that physiologically there isn't hunger. People do sometimes have psychological hunger, which is, it's 6 o'clock, it's dinner time, I should be hungry, therefore I feel hungry. The hunger, there's nothing comparable to traditional diets as far as hunger and the food deprivation thing. But to say that absolutely there is no hunger is a little bit, because everybody is sort of a little bit different. The whole idea is physiologically your hunger is shut down because of ketosis. If someone feels hunger, it is something that we can help them with while they're going through the process to make sure they understand and can adjust to it mentally, because it is a psychological thing. So that's important to understand. The other thing is, I want to just talk for a second, and I may be jumping on a question you're about to ask, but let me just do that anyway, because when Dr. D talks about the tube and how that works, some people get a little confused or concerned.
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Well,
it is a little radical.
It is a little radical. It is, but it's radical in a really good way. So the thing that we find is that people that have 20 more pounds to lose, that have tried to lose weight, are extremely focused on getting that weight down. They could be someone who is starting a new job or newly divorced, or just having the health effects of obesity that's just playing on them. They're not active. They can't be active with their kids. There's lots of reasons why people are highly motivated to lose weight. That motivation, and when they realize how much weight there is to lose, the tube doesn't really play into their decision making. They have to understand it, but by and large, most people that want to lose weight, the tube is not a big issue. One of the things that some people say is, well, I don't want to go out in public with a tube coming out of my nose. There's plenty of people who've done it, who basically just walk through life and say, I'm not going to let what everybody else wonders or thinks about worry me. I'm getting healthier. But also coming off the pandemic, there's lots of people who wore masks for months and months and months. So if you're wearing a mask because people don't even care why you're wearing it, but wearing a mask is a fairly normal thing now. So no one's going to know, especially a female who's got hair just like yours, they're going to know that no one's going to see that tube. And it's pretty inconspicuous. So people can be active. They can go to the movies. They can shop. They can do their normal activities, and I'll let Dr. D talk a little bit about exercise on as far as what the right thing to do is as far as exercise. But people can basically resume their normal life. If they want to go out to dinner with their friends, they can go have a glass of water or a cup of tea, but they don't have to eat because they're not going to be hungry, and they can sort of gloat over the fact they're losing weight while everybody else is eating and bulking up on carbs. So it's a very positive situation. Dr. D, do you want to talk a little bit about exercise for a sec, if you don't mind?
Not at all. Happy to. So we encourage patients to just do what they would normally do. If someone is used to exercising vigorously, doing weights and things like that, we usually encourage them not to do strenuous exercise while they're in ketosis. So they could do a little walking if they want, a little bit of treadmill, but we tell them to avoid the strenuous exercises that they may be accustomed to. And I just wanted to comment on the fact that the vast majority of our patients, well over 99%, have absolutely no hunger when they're in ketosis. Now, there's an occasional patient that may develop psychogenic hunger. If you're watching TV and you see a pizza commercial and it looks very appetizing, well, some people do get hungry, but that's psychogenic hunger. It goes away very, very quickly as soon as the commercial's over. And if you have to, you could, drink a glass of water. You could just, it literally lasts seconds to minutes. It's not the hunger that you get when you haven't eaten and you're not in ketosis.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember my husband and I, we actually, right before our wedding, we did like a keto diet, almost like a challenge, because it was like intense ketosis for like a month and a half. And it was wild. He lost so much weight. And you're right, like there was like barely any hunger. We would have like, what are they called? One of those like coffees with the MCT oil, like in the morning, and then we wouldn't eat till later in the evening, and that was it. But at the same time, our lifestyle didn't really change that much, which is good. So, could you, like, for somebody that maybe has gone through, we're talking about people that have tried everything at this point, and they probably already had heard of ketosis, tried it, but didn't work for them. How will this be different for them? Or what do you usually tell them?
That's a very good question. Well, keto now is very, very popular. And this system is the most extreme form of keto dieting because you're literally getting zero carbohydrate. And you are getting the equivalent of MCT and protein and micronutrients. So this is the most extreme form of keto dieting because it's zero. And really the weight loss is unbeatable. You really can't lose 1 to 2 pounds a day, doing a keto diet because you have to eat other stuff. You could lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, but literally this is 7 to 10 times more intense and more rapid. And keto dieting, I found over my 40-year career that all diets work if you could stick to them. The problem is people, because they get hungry, they can't stick to it, and their willpower goes down. So I've had many, many patients tell me, well, doctor, I'm hungry all the time. I'm trying this diet. I'm hungry and I'm not losing weight and I'm trying to exercise. What do I do? I think I'm going to go get surgery. Well, I always try and talk people out of, bariatric surgery and say there are other extremes. There are other systems. And this is one of the options that somebody that needs to lose a lot of weight can do relatively quickly, absolutely safely, and everything improves. If a person is a pre-diabetic or has type 2 diabetes, everything improves very, very quickly. So it actually has, beneficial medical implications in terms of cardiovascular risk factors for people that are obese. Back to you.
So let me just add something to that real quick, because now we're on the subject of doctors and bariatric surgery. It's a good time to bring this up.
Please.
There's for med spas that are competing in a marketplace. One of the nice things about Dream Body System is if they're bringing in Dream Body System, they're not competing against other med spas because this is brand new right now, and it's a great opportunity to be first in the market. There's a very important factor here, and that is every medical professional, whether it's an orthopedic surgeon or a podiatrist whether it's an OBGYN or a dermatologist, every one of these doctors is facing the obesity crisis daily. We have a provider in Los Angeles who she's a PA in an orthopedic surgery clinic. And she says she has 3 to 4 people a week who come into her. They're upset because they weigh too much to get surgery, and they desperately need it because their hip or their knee is in such bad shape they have no mobility. So in a no-win situation, they can't get the surgery because they're too heavy. They can't lose weight because of the mobility issue. And so she opened a clinic right there, and she's getting referrals right from her orthopedic surgery clinic. The point is, every one of these doctors is looking for an answer as far as weight loss is concerned. It's very difficult for a medical person to say to someone, you need to lose weight, and the person says, how? And they don't have a real answer because so much of it out there is a struggle. So by having this opportunity in your marketplace and reaching out to the doctors in your marketplace, you have a built-in referral network that you can tap into and get patients over and over and over again. The great thing about this is if you have an orthopedic surgeon who has a patient that needs to lose 40 pounds before they can go through surgery, this process is so predictable that that surgeon can say, if you go on Dream Body today, you need to lose 40 pounds. I'm scheduling for surgery in 6 weeks. You will have lost the weight in 6 weeks. That's a startling thing to be able to say to a patient. And Dr. D has said it works. If you follow the process and you just don't cheat, you will lose that weight. And the reaction from patients, and this is where I just get a thrill because I'm not a medical person, but when I talk to patients that have gone through this and I hear their story and I hear how it's changed their lives, their energy level, their outlook, their ability to do things that they've desperately wanted to do. They don't feel like social outcasts. There's lots and lots of reasons. And you can you can transform them physically so quickly. They change their outlook on who they think of themselves as. They no longer think of themselves as an overweight person who's got a weight and food problem. They start thinking of themselves as a healthy person. And that psychological change keeps them from wanting to ever go back the way they were. They may slip, they may make some bad decisions on food, but their fear is, I don't want to ever go back. Not their fear is, I can never change. It's a whole different paradigm for them. And it's very exciting to see these people living their lives to the best of their ability because of this.
Of course, yes. No, I love that. So, and I think, again, like going back to how does this really fit into the MedSpa space? But on a business perspective, how does this really fit into bringing it as a MedSpa? Like, I'm already working with like body contouring, anything that's non-surgical, and I'm already working with maybe like injectables and anything to help people feel better. How does this system fit into what I'm currently doing?
So first, let me just say one thing to start to answer that question. And that is, all those things you're talking about, or many of those things you're talking about, carry with them a rather large buy-in on equipment or et cetera. Mm-hmm. The Dream Body system requires none of that. And I can get into more detail on that. But the point of the matter is that getting involved with the Dream Body system is not an expensive proposition. So as I talked before, there's 75% of American adults who have a weight problem. Those people are basically disqualifying themselves from talking to a med spa about anything because they feel either uncomfortable or they feel like they'll be rejected. Mm-hmm. Okay. So first of all, you can start a conversation with 3/4 of your marketplace that would never talk to you. Once you transform those people will be your patients for life or clients for life because you've made such a difference in their lives. The revenue from this is very good. And we can certainly, any med spa that wants to contact us, we can certainly go through the numbers, but I'll just tell you that as Dr. D was talking about, patients are generally doing more than one cycle. And so they're coming in and they're visiting over and over again. Lots of opportunities for you as a provider to speak with that patient, to encourage them, to talk about next steps and plan with them what the rest of their life is going to look like. So so you're seeing that patient every 10 days as they're going through this. when they start a cycle, when they end a cycle. They start the next cycle, they end the next cycle. You get to see them over and over and over again, and you're talking to that patient every day. So you're building that relationship with that patient like nothing else that you can do in your business. And that patient is starting to tell you how different they feel, how good they feel. It's a good opportunity to talk to them about, oh, by the way, did you know? And have questions about give them information about other things going on in the spa. So there's lots of ways that this incorporates. It's seamless. It doesn't take away from anything else you're doing. Someone with more than 20 pounds to lose, there's not a lot that you can do for them in that spa that you're not already doing that's going to really help someone with a lot of weight to lose. So this really gets them to the point where all those things you spend a lot of money and a lot of time on become very effective for that patient. Does that answer your question?
Yes, 100%. I mean, I love that you speak our language completely in the sense of like, we're all about like building relationships. We're talking to people that we couldn't talk before because something like Cool Sculpting or M-Sculpt, they only target if you have a certain percentage of body fat. And so that disqualifies so many other ones. And this could really help more people have a bigger impact on the business itself. So that is amazing. Currently, how many clinics or med spas are you working with?
So we just rolled this program out in the first quarter of this year. So we're about 4 months in. We have 28 providers across the country right now. We're not saturated in any market. There's lots of opportunity. So for anybody that's interested in this, all they have to do is give us a call. We can give them the lay of the land and talk to them about how we can help them get started. Which leads me to another point that I want to make. And I just want to not forget this.
Yes.
What Dr. D is talking about is something totally different from what people have seen before. And as providers, one of the things that I hear over and over again is, I'd like to see this work for myself before I start telling patients about it. And there's lots of med spa owners that say, I want to do this on myself because if I'm going to do weight loss, I better make sure that I'm not the person that should be doing weight loss when I'm talking to patients about it. So we have a lot of providers that become believers when they've gone through a cycle or two and they've lost a lot of weight. We just had a lady who is the former Miss Texas. She's had 3 children in close order, and she's carrying on some extra mommy weight. And she's just changing from a day spa to a med spa. And she's doing that because of the Dream Body system. But she lost 18.2 pounds in 10 days.
Wow.
And her friends were saying she'd see her friends 2 days after she started, they saw a difference in her face that she was losing weight. They were so excited for her. And that brings up another point. I'm sorry to keep doing this, but
go for it.
These things are important and are exciting.
Yes.
These patients that come in to see you, we see an almost 1-to-1 referral ratio. When someone comes in and their life changes dramatically, they bring someone in right behind them who needs the same thing. They're excited to share this with them. And that's a lead you got virtually for free. There wasn't a lead cost in that, except for maybe some effort in telling people. Or if you want to say, if you bring a referral in, I'll give you something. So there's always that, and everybody knows how to do that. But those referrals, it's amazing to watch it just sort of spread out as the word spreads. And I do want to talk a little bit about the Dream Body Heroes Fund before we go, but we don't have to do that right now. I don't want to go too far afield from your question. So.
Yeah, no, and this relates really well with my next question, which is, what has success looked like for the current med spas that you're working with? What are they saying right now?
So, we're still in early stages. This isn't fully rolled out with everybody, but what we're doing is we're going through the process of teaching people how to talk about weight loss and giving them all the conversations, explaining how to convert a lead so that that person who calls on the phone desperate for weight loss understands the opportunity so they can come in and have a consult. So those are all the things we're working on right now. Everybody that is up and running right now, which is about half of those groups, are already seeing patients, and every one of those people are having a success. But have they fully rolled it out to the point where they're getting 5 or 10 patients a week? Not yet. So the best thing that you can do is look at Dr. D. Pietro, because he was the one that was doing it for a long time, and his success probably is a pretty good example of what a successful practice looks like. Dr. D, what were you seeing as far as patients a week when you were at full speed?
Well, it would depend on how much advertising we did at the time. So, I mean, listen, there was a time where we were doing a lot, as many as 5 or 6 a day, when we had all the media input, when we would be on TV, Dr. Oz, things like that. That would definitely, we had people flying out of town because the only place it was offered was in Miami. So we had a lot of people fly in, just to do this. It, becomes very expensive, for the patient. And it would be logical to be able to offer this in every city in the US so someone could just locally go to their city. But what I found is the more you spend on advertising, you get way more than what you spend back in patients.
And he was fortunate that he got the word out pretty clearly on exactly what the offer was. So the people came in pretty much set on, if I'm going to get that much weight, I know what I'm buying, and we're pretty excited about coming to see him. So, and he was a celebrity, he was a celebrity on TV and stuff like that. So we're proud to have him as part of our team continuously. He's been very generous with his time, even in retirement.
Yes, that is amazing. So, we know the importance of advertising. Do you offer any marketing support to anybody that goes acquires the system?
Sure. So we've built out a whole brand strategy. We have a lot of testimonials that can be used. We have a lot of video. And what we would do is we would share all that with your marketing agency or with your webmaster or whoever you need, so that they can be the ones reaching out to your client. We're not in the business of reaching directly out to consumers, but we want to give you all the help we can. We have agencies that we work with already, with other providers we can recommend to you that are experts in weight loss and conversions. So if you're at a point where you need to have a little bit of help in that area, we're here to help you. We have that experience. As you know, I have a marketing background, and we can really make sure you're well taken care of on that end.
That's awesome. Are there any other ways you help providers get off on the right foot as they're starting this?
There's lots of things that they can do. We have a whole program of guerrilla marketing, which is a familiar term to most people, of ways that you can get the word out in your community. We share those with providers, and we can strategize with them. Point of care materials are very important. We have lots of different offer ideas that you can do to get people who may be coming in for other reasons. We have ways to get them so they're willing to listen about this kind of information. And if they're not a person who needs it, share it with other people. So it's all about sharing the information.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's lots and lots of folks that have been, if you've had a spa around for any time at all, you have a lot of people who have come in and maybe they've drifted away or whatever. Reaching out to those folks and letting them know about your new service, which I'm sure you would do for any other service, you're going to get a response like nothing else, because this is a whole different conversation you're having. And a lot of this is someone seeing something and passing it on to their friend because they know their friend is the one who really needs the help.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you this before I forget too. How much does it really cost for a clinic to offer the Dream Body system? Are there a lot of resources that are required?
No. There's not. Everything that you need for a cycle comes in a box. So the kit has the set, has everything you need to be able to help the patient. There are a few small items that need to be purchased in the clinic for tube insertion, lidocaine, Afrin, that kind of thing. And the provider does need to get a few of the portable pumps that the patient uses so they can be mobile. And those cost around $600, and they are used over and over, just like an iPhone. You buy an iPhone, you're making lots. You don't even think about it because it just goes and goes and goes. Same thing with these pumps. They're industry standard, high-end pumps, and you can use them literally hundreds of times. So for one $600 purchase, you're getting lots and lots of use out of it. So that's really the only thing that needs to be purchased at the time, and the other things are just sort of ancillary. So the costs are pretty much all in that one box that comes to the patient.
That's awesome. So if somebody were to want to, start this, is there any like startup cost, any like setup fee or anything along those lines?
There's no setup fee. We don't require a long-term commitment, so that when you sign an agreement with us, you're signing an agreement with us to purchase from us when you're promoting the Dream Body system. And that's an agreement that you can sever at any time. So you're not committing to a long-term contract. You're not required to buy any inventory. So you don't have to spend any money up front at all, except for those pumps. There's nothing else that you need to spend. Now, the wise owner is making a budget for marketing and making sure that they've got a plan before they start, making sure they have a team of people who know how to talk to patients and get them converted at the door or on the phone. And you need to have a staff that's trained on how to talk on the phone. You do not need to have a medical person talking to these folks while they're going through the process. You need someone who's empathetic, understands it. In some places, that is a staff member who's gone through the cycle themselves, so they really understand. It's an ideal situation. But it's really about just having someone who listens and helps and has a helpful nature, which is what most people are when they're in a med spa. They're that kind of attitude anyway. So everything is about just proper preparation for a new business. There's nothing that's absolutely required.
Oh, that's awesome. It seems pretty simple to get started and start seeing results and helping more people.
Right. So did I talk to you about the trial kit already? I don't think I did. I was getting that way. We talked before about having the patients that they want to try it on themselves first. We offer a trial kit that allows a provider to try it on themselves or on someone they know before they're going out and talking about it. So if they don't use it on themselves, we make it easy for them to do it on someone that knows and trusts them. As long as they don't charge the patient for that, we'll make that easily available to them. And that way they have firsthand knowledge as they're comfortable, they've done the tube insertion, and every patient is a paying patient after that is going to have a wonderful experience.
Oh, that is amazing. So now let me go back a little bit to maybe the medical side. And I was looking at some of the questions that, whenever there's like something new that med spas want to bring into their business, of course, there's all the cost and like the setup and what it'll look like, but then, and what's the revenue like, right? But after that, they want to know, like, what will patients and clients experience through this all, right? What are their questions and how can I best serve them and help them? So I was gathering some questions that most people tend to have. Dr. D, could you help me answer some of these?
Sure.
One of them, awesome. One of them being, so it is maybe known that losing so much weight in such little time can actually be bad for the body. Is that true? And if so, how does this really affect somebody?
Well, that's really not medically true. People have said that, but there's no basis for that. Patients that have bariatric surgery can lose 100 pounds in a year. And we've had many, many patients lose that much weight. And there's really no issues. What's important to note, though, is that this system gets the weight off. It doesn't keep the weight off. So a patient or a client has to do something else to maintain the weight, which would mean keto dieting or, whatever else the med spa specializes in to keep the weight off. You have to do. You can't go back to your old habits because you'll slowly put the weight back on. So it's very important to have an ongoing.
Let me just interrupt real quick because this is a very important point you're making, and I hate to be rude, but if I don't say it now, then I'm going to forget, and I know you'll be able to pick up where you left off. We are now offering lifestyle coaching courses and things like that. If a provider doesn't have them, we can get them right into those so that the patient is getting support between cycles and after cycles, teaching them how to eat properly, teaching them how to include activities in their life, and make it so that they have the right mental attitude to stay healthy forever. So to Dr. D's question, and he's the reason that we're doing this because he's been saying this right along, and I didn't have the chance to really explain that to Dr. D going in, but that's something we're doing now, and we're very excited about that program. We'd be happy to talk more about that with any med spa that wants to give us a call. So sorry, Dr. D.
No, no problem. Very good. A very good point. So, so basically, whatever the med spa specializes in for weight maintenance, or whether it's keto dieting, meal replacement, they need to continue that and need to maintain a relationship with the client. And, in terms of, did you ask about side effects? Do you want me to go into that? I mean, 98% of patients are very happy. They're very encouraged. When they see the weight loss, we encourage everybody to weigh themselves every day. And when they see 1 or 2 pounds drop every day, they're very encouraged. And as I said, nearly everybody is absolutely hunger free. And when they see the weight come down, they're very encouraged and they continue. So the success rate is well over 98%. There is about 2% of people, 2 out of 100, that just can't take the tube. It's not for them, and they just can't do it. So this is not for everybody. But let's say 98% of people that do it are successful. And I think that's a very good, statistic. And in terms of side effects, well, there is some halitosis, which means bad breath, because when you're in ketosis, your lungs actually excrete. So you exhale ketone bodies, which have a sweet taste. People think it's bad breath. It isn't bad breath. It's ketone bodies that you're actually exhaling. So if you keep more than 3 or 4 feet away from someone, they will not smell it. But if you kiss somebody, they may notice. They say, "Hey, I think you have bad breath," and it isn't bad breath. It's really due to the ketosis. And some patients may get constipated, others get diarrhea because of the MCT component. So it takes a little bit of adjustment, but the vast majority do very well. They have no real side effects, and they're very happy with the weight loss.
Nice. Do they
now,
get
a comment I wanted. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, I was just going to ask, do they get the infamous Keto Flu?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a new term for something that's always existed. Yes. I mean, the first few days of ketosis, some people, not everybody, feel listless, they feel tired because your whole metabolism is switching from a carbohydrate burning system to a fat burning system. Now, a lot of people don't have that so-called keto flu. And after a few days, a lot of people feel energized. They think better. They actually feel better, especially mentally, because the brain is very efficient at consuming ketones for energy, whereas every other part of the body primarily consumes carbohydrates and converts it into fat. So when you're in a fat burning mode, which is ketosis, the body just burns all the available fat that it could find, which is why this is so effective. Now, I always use the analogy, think of a bear that hibernates all winter. Well, the bear's not hungry. It burns the fat that it's stored. We all have way too much fat stores because, we've all been eating too much all of our lives. There's no feast or famine. Nature has made, animals to go through periods of feast and periods of famine where you fast, which we virtually never do. So this creates a state of nutritional ketosis.
Wow, that is amazing. So I did see on the website that results are guaranteed. How does that work, and how will it work when a med spa purchases the system?
Okay, so the opportunity to guarantee is up to the med spa. Okay, but we support med spas in the following ways. There's 2 ways. If a patient comes in and you guarantee them 20 to 30 pounds of weight loss in 30 days, and that patient doesn't cheat, and I can explain how we know that, doesn't cheat and doesn't lose at least 20 pounds, then we consider the cycle sets that we shipped you as faulty and we'll replace them. So if you decide to give money back to that patient, you're not losing the money that you spent on our cycle sets. So we support you in your guaranteeing of the system. The best way for you to see that works is you look at the average that Dr. D is talking about at 12.8 pounds in 10 days. You put 2 cycles in the 30-day cycle, you can see the average is going to be 26.6 pounds or something, 26.2 pounds. So saying 20 to 30 pounds is not a stretch, but it's still unbelievable compared to anything else out there, where traditional diets are maybe you lose 4 or 5 pounds in a month. Now you're losing 20 or more. And we know that people will be ecstatic with that. So that's the way we would do it on that 30-day guarantee. If you have a patient that needs to lose 50 pounds, for example, you can tell them and you can agree with them that they could lose 50 pounds in 4 or 5 cycles. Okay. So if you sit them and you plan that, okay, this is going to be a 5-cycle program for you, and you should be 50 pounds lighter, and they don't get to that 50 pounds, then we will give you free cycle sets to get that patient to 50 pounds of weight loss at no charge to you, for the same reasons as mentioned before, so that you have a happy client. So 50 pounds of weight loss is an awful lot of weight. We can do it. We know the system works so well that we doubt you'll ever have to do it. But there's some people whose physiology just doesn't allow it. We'll support you on that as well. So that's the way that we work with you and be partners with you. It's your decision. We think the guarantee is a very powerful marketing tool, and we support you in that effort.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. It sometimes happens, right? Like you said, that somebody's physiology might just be a little bit different. So it might just not work exactly like we want it to.
Right. The reason that we're in business is to help a lot of people who can't otherwise get help. And the Dream Bodies Heroes Fund was designed to help people who, for whatever reason, can't financially swing it. I think of a single mom with kids for whom weight loss is imperative because of their health and they have to raise their children, things like that. And if there's a potential patient like that, if you're a provider of ours and you reach out to us, we will provide you free of charge through the fund 1 or 2 cycles to help them get started, as long as you agree that you're going to provide those services on your side free of charge, so that person can get the weight loss they need. Now, if you think about it, 2 cycles is 30 pounds of weight loss, or approximately 30 pounds of weight loss. That can make a huge difference in someone's life. That may not be all the weight they need to lose, but it certainly can kickstart them into having a much healthier life. And with some of the support that a provider can give as far as learning how to eat properly, which is all part of the process anyway, these people can really be on the pathway to changing their lives. So that's why we do it. We can't do it for everybody. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in business. But we are willing to do that to help people. And obviously, as a MedSpa owner, you understand the social media opportunities and things like that when you help someone out of the goodness of your heart to have a better life. And we support that entirely with this process.
That is amazing. I love that because, yeah, you're right. Like, there might be some people that are not financially there just yet, but in terms of business, that becomes an amazing referral, a client for life. They might be better financially off later in life and want to return the favor, right? So I'm so happy to hear that you guys are doing that and helping MedSpas put out an amazing offer. I mean, I feel like it has all of the marketing terms that we've been talking about and making sure that this actually not only works for the client, but also works for the business, which is amazing.
Right. Agreed.
And so I am so excited to have both of you guys here. I learned so much. I am really excited to hear how this goes with MedSpas. I mean, you guys have just started here in the US this year and have already had so much success. So I can only imagine how amazing it will be moving forward. And so with that, we really wanted to invite everybody, all of the listeners, all of the podcasts, if you are interested in having the Dream Body system be part of your MedSpa, if you're just interested, want more information, how this works, you probably have a lot more questions than I asked already. We are going to have a webinar with both Mr. Douglas and Dr. D, where you will be able to ask all the questions. They're going to go through a presentation and explain exactly how the Dream Body system works, what do you need to get started, and if you do want to get started right there and then, that is also going to be a possibility. So if any of our listeners would want to know more information, we want to know about this upcoming webinar, make sure to check out the links below anywhere you are listening and get on our waiting list so that we can send you more information about the Dream Body system and that upcoming webinar. So now, just to end this episode, are there any other last remarks that you would want to share with our audience today?
Just look forward to speaking to anybody who wants to make people's dreams come true when it comes to weight loss. We're happy to help.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so
It was a
much.
pleasure. It was a pleasure being with you today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and hopefully we can have you on the podcast again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.